Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of So What You Hear. I'm Jay,
Craig.
Tiff.
and this week there's still not a lot going on. We're
We
kind of
have
waiting for
absolutely
OTAs.
shit today.
That's not true. That's not true.
That's what I wanted to
It's a
say.
little true.
No, it's a little true. It's. Oh God, I can't wait until next week when mini camp starts and people are doing things, and you might actually get to see what some of these young players look like, or see what these combinations get to look like.
Yeah.
But a little bit of stuff that has been going on. Brandon Aiyuk has officially announced that he wants a trade from the San Francisco 49ers.
And they denied it. Said
And I just don't get what,
they absolutely said that we're not, and look, we are not looking to trade him. So
he's a great player. He plays for the team. You're not going to hold out all season.
my thing is, next year you're unrestricted free agent. Play the year.
Just play the year.
Like, you're not gonna. Obviously, we know they don't have enough money to re-sign you because they're strapped for fucking cash.
I mean, yeah, it's not like this is a team that's not known for playing their players. I think they got like 5 top placed players.
And injuries seem to bite y'all every season.
You think that's what they scared of a little bit? I mean, is that what he's scared that he's not gonna get paid? I mean, I understand the right.
I think he's also nervous that he's not gonna get the touches as much.
So the season's not gonna look as good.
So it's not gonna look as good. So a team's gonna be like, you know what, your numbers weren't that great. So we're gonna pay you.
I don't know. I think he's very reliable.
I don't think they're gonna.
Him, so I don't see why they would cut him out.
He is their deep threat. He's the deep threat.
Ricky Pierce, I'll just say we don't know what's gonna happen. Look, Kyle Shanahan is probably foaming at the mouth to be able to see how to use this rookie.
Well, yeah,
and he's gonna figure out ways to get him in there with Debo. Now you got Jawan Jennings, who they signed an extension to. You got Kittle, you got Debo, you got Ricky Pearsall, and we all remember they also got McCaffrey coming out the backfield.
You used to save them a lot, though, especially when Debo went down.
Yes, he has.
With how physical Debo plays, he's gonna miss a game or two here.
I just think Aiyuk's like last year. I did decent. I still got some good yards, good touches, but this year might be too many mouths to feed.
Let me see. I think he'll be all right. I think he'll hold out next year.
Not hold out, but like being like, you think it's the team a little bit itself? Like usually when
he wants to go somewhere where he has a better chance to shine. Like that's why you see him like talking. He talked that stuff to Jaden McDaniels in the offseason, and they just say, I don't think they want me, man. And he was talking like, or he really like Commanders are the highest people on the list if they were ever become available.
Yeah. And them in Pittsburgh, I think.
Yeah, and then also him going to the Commanders. I mean, Jahan Dotson,
Terry McLaurin. I mean, you have a chance to win. I mean, like y'all.
Well, he's been to 2 Super Bowls and lost.
Okay, so with third and third,
think they're going to Washington gives you a better shot.
Do a better yeah,
maybe he thinks it's more exposure. Maybe he likes. I don't know. We don't know what he's thinking. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah.
So
clearly.
So I mean, but he seems like he wants out. Maybe he's just because he thinks he deserves quality money, but their money's tied up with all the other stars. Like, he's not going to get a Debo contract. He's not going to get a McCaffrey contract.
Yeah.
He's not going to get Kittles. He's not going to get anything. He's not going to get anything. They got Fred Warner and Nick Bosa tied up. Where are they going to find money to even scratch the surface of what he thinks he's worth?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like, let me get out of here so that we don't have to waste this time. Like, you're not gonna be able to resign me. So
why don't you just let me go?
Let me go.
Oh.
And Kyle Shanahan's like,
and they're like, when your contract's up, because you're good.
You're good. I mean, if you do make it and you do happen to get a ring, then you're worth more, right? If
they go this year and get a ring, and he's like, all right, I'm free, he's gonna get a bigger contract. I would ride the chance for.
And I also think the Niners also kind of burnt that bridge a little bit because they gave Jawan Jennings that.
Well, I do think the Jawan Jennings signing hurt, but
it was less. It was little money, but it's like, really, like you gonna talk to him and get him out the way, not me.
Yeah.
Like,
but a little bit of that is because like it's a cheaper contract. We can fade that. I think they've known they weren't gonna be able to fade this, but I think they felt they would just keep Aiyuk there until his contract's up, and then I think that was the reason you get Pearsall here because. You don't want Pearsall you don't want Aiyuk going and hope that this rookie looks as good as he did in college. You want to wait until you know and then go, all right, cool. And yeah.
I got you. Okay. I mean, yeah, I just thought it was interesting, like really pushing to leave and
well, and that's the news and non-news of it because like it is news that he's like putting in like, no, I want to be traded.
I want to be gone.
But and this is not the first time that they've been in conversation, like that San Francisco's been in this position of like, we're not paying you, you're gonna play. We don't care if people care. Like, they do that. They get through this.
And also, in other news of leaving, somebody's leaving us with their talent.
Altogether, Randall Cobb.
It's retiring. Like,
it's just one of them guys. He's just like, I've always known him playing. Like, he played just. He's always been a relevant player that you just.
It's what 12 years, right?
Yeah, sure. You know what? He had sure hands. Somebody you could depend on in a pinch. Was great slot receiver. Not like yes.
I mean, him and Rodgers were great together.
Yeah, he was always a security blanket. I mean, he had 630 receptions, something like 7,500 yards receiving over 12 years.
Those Hail Marys that Rodgers threw, it was Cobb that jumped up and came down.
Cobb got a couple. I mean, other Rodgers got one. Yeah, you had people out there who just. But Cobb was always a staple with Rodgers. When you saw Rodgers, you were used to seeing.
He did the dirty work.
Yeah, you saw Cobb the one out there in the trenches doing all the stuff he needed to do.
Yeah.
Miss him. Good luck in your future endeavors.
What he say he was doing again?
He's a college analyst.
Yeah, for the SEC network.
Okay.
So I mean,
that's gonna be cool.
Yeah. So we'll still see
smart dude.
We'll see him on Saturdays if you tune into those things. So.
Watch a little bit of that.
Well, we have to.
Yeah. Well,
it's part of our job.
Yeah. Oh, a little bit. It's college.
Hey,
I can watch.
We said we were gonna watch college.
Yeah, but I can watch
the future NFL players, right?
And be good.
He's nervous of what college might be.
No, college will be fine. I know college is gonna be fine.
It's good. You sure?
I'm confident.
You're confident.
College will be fine.
Okay.
But well, we spent.
Like, then wake up.
Good Lord.
I mean, seriously.
Wake her ass up then. But anyway, about the last like, what, 8 videos or something like that, going over all these teams and who they got and added and all that. Well, you can add everybody you want. If you don't perform, it ain't gonna matter. So I think the best thing to do now, before we get into actually seeing people play, and we see
the way he's segueing into what he's talking about, that was a good setup. He's talking about his Giants and hard.
Okay, it's not just that's not what this is about. I'm done. Yeah, we're talking hot seat. See, you all loud and wrong.
Hey, I thought we were talking about the Giants.
We can still talk about the Giants.
I thought you were talking about Saquon because you don't perform and show up to us. So
no, because I can't say Saquon didn't perform.
He's like the only one that did.
I just feel like it's like having a kicker that's hitting 80-yard field goals. Well, that's awesome. But if the rest of the team sucks, who cares?
But that's 3 points. I'm sorry, that's not your point. I just think that this team that
80 yards.
Yeah, but if your defense is giving up touchdowns and your offense is turning the ball over and can't do nothing, that's great.
That just sounds like
what happened that 1 year with what happened that 1 year with Baltimore. You had Justin Tucker as your kicker on fantasy. Then for some reason that offense could not move, and even when Justin Tucker, who can hit 65-yard bombs, they weren't even putting up field goals.
I got rid of him too soon when they started winning.
Yeah, because then he started hitting field goals.
But still, I get your point. Like, you can't get him near. You say 80 yards, so that's really close. But
a running back that is one of the best in the league is amazing unless you have a crap line. And then the offense can't really throw. And then the defense can't hold once the offense can't do nothing. And your special teams are kind of mediocre. But anyway.
Sounds like poor management.
The point, anyway, is that all these people that have these teams, there's quite a few of them that if they don't execute in this season, they're gone.
Going to streets, yeah.
And they ain't going to be around no more. Yeah. And I personally have a couple that I don't think people are thinking about because they're considered good teams that I don't think that's going to be good enough.
Okay, and yeah, who are those?
Where you start?
Well, if I'm starting with good teams that I might think have to worry, Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
12 wins in the playoffs, first berth, number 1 seed.
None
of that. There's literally no amount of success they can have in the regular season.
Yeah, we got rid of the coordinator.
That's going to matter.
Yeah.
If they could be the number 1 seed going into the playoffs, they could be undefeated. If they go into the playoffs and lose in the first round or get embarrassed in the second round, that McCarthy's gone.
If they're undefeated, I think he gonna have another year.
And I think y'all have had like 3 losses, 2 losses, 1 loss, and one and done in the playoffs, and Jerry's done.
If they have,
I don't think he will. I think if he does not make the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl, Mike McCarthy is gone.
I can see if we lose a playoff game, if we have if we have a good season, but then we get into the playoffs and they lose a playoff game, I can see him being gone. I do. I see even Dak being a part of that. Like, it's another one of those a lot of interceptions, games in there in the playoffs, which he's starting to be known to do. I said, I cannot think of our coordinator.
Dan Quinn.
They got rid of. No, that's the
defense. Oh, the offensive coordinator,
Kellen Moore. Then they got so Dan Quinn's gone. These are the 2 left. So
I think that's gonna help. I think Dan Quinn's defenses are overrated.
Well, we about to find out. So I mean, that's who's next. Then you get the quarterback and the head coach. Yeah. I can see them sticking with Dak before
Carson. It's up for a contract. I don't think he's gonna be sticking around either.
We'll see. I think it depends on if they feel like it's more one than the other. They tend to hold on to their quarterbacks a little bit more. Like, I mean, they held on with Romo until the end.
But that's another reason why I don't know if Dak's going to get that luxury, because I think maybe there was a little bit of, if we'd have moved on earlier with Romo, maybe we could have, because imagine if Dak would have already had a year or 2 with that team, what he might have been able to do. Or another quarterback, whereas if they would have moved on from Romo 3-4 years earlier, you'd have had a healthy team. Well, that's the point, though.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. But
they tried one way, they didn't work.
I can see that being a possibility that either one of them or both of them would be in the hot seat this year.
I think NFC Championship.
I think if they win a playoff game, that might help in their favor.
I think NFC Championship or Super Bowl, and Mike McCarthy's going.
I can give you that.
No, nothing out of me.
No argument on that one.
Nope.
I can see.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to flip to the other side from the NFC to the AFC, and I'm gonna call it what it is: the Dallas Cowboy equivalent. Sean McDermott is not gonna be in Buffalo if he gets in the playoffs and gets bounced again like that. Okay. If he ain't AFC Championship or Super Bowl, and if he AFC Championship and the Chiefs give it to him again, I think that's gonna be it.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Now, would you think Josh Allen be going with him? I think the same thing with Dak. I think Josh Allen is their future. And they're going to move everybody, all the other pieces around before they ever move him around. And it might depend on how his season goes.
He's looking like a
Phillip Rivers one.
No, he looks better. He looked like an always brand Jim Kelly. He can't even.
He looked pretty good last year, didn't he?
Yeah. Not in the postseason.
No.
Look,
that's true.
That game they won was against a crappy Pittsburgh team in horrible weather.
And let's be real, it was delayed. I think if they'd have played Pittsburgh when they were supposed to, Pittsburgh would have beat them. Remember, the field was totally snow. If Pittsburgh would have had to run the ball, Pittsburgh would have ran the ball all over them, and they would have had no help because they cleared the field. And he was able to throw the ball and get some and get a couple of things to get ahead. I just think Josh McDowell. I think after all these times in the playoffs getting bounced out and you just like lost words and people leaving you, I feel like, man, you're looking down. You're like shotgun shot now. You're just like, I can't, he can't do it. He's like, I can't.
You think
he has to get over the hurdle
this year? Or you think he's good for one
more
year?
I think public opinion on him is too high. I don't think he'll be in the
Everyone up there loves him.
Yeah, that's what
so
I'm
everybody league wide on they would get more heat for really getting rid of him. And he has to play atrociously.
He would have to go into the gutter.
Like 4 or 5 interceptions, or like 2, 3 and a fumble,
or he'd have to have a season where he threw like 17 touchdowns and 28 picks.
And then but McDermott, I think he's on his last leg. I think he's in the Mike McCarthy spot. If he does not make a real Super Bowl, because that's the team. You get a lot of teams that don't make the playoffs often. They don't have the amount of teams that don't have Super Bowls is insane.
Yeah,
you have teams that have 1. And it was 50 years ago. You have 2. You get this oh, well, they're making the playoffs. That's good enough. The goal's not the playoffs. Because every time one of those teams, like the Lions have been trash. They've been good for 2, maybe 3 years now. And they're already oh, yeah, just making the playoffs isn't good enough anymore. Because now that's the thing we should be doing. Now we're realizing This is what good franchises do anyway.
Yeah,
we need a Super Bowl.
They have the blueprint. They followed it, and now we expect you to be in the playoffs.
And that's where Buffalo has been in the. You should be winning the Super Bowl for like 5 years now, and it just keeps falling so short.
History anyway.
Oh, I mean,
they've
yes.
been to the Super Bowl. They can't
4 straight Super Bowl losses.
They can't
insane.
leave with the ring. So
I mean, exactly, but
like historically, they choke in the playoffs. It's
so
a thing.
I can see just the whole.
Also within the we're talking about.
No, I'm just saying like the city itself is like.
I mean, they're on Suicide Watch every year.
They're,
but I mean,
damn near, yeah.
So I mean, but another team in the division, Salah and them Jets.
Yeah.
They've afforded you everything to be able to give you a chance to show that you can control this team, lead this team, and yes, you lost your quarterback early.
And they didn't feel like they did anything about that.
But,
they lost from the
they
first
kind of gave out the thing. They
had no
kind of said Salah was.
Remember we said it last season. There was no money to go anywhere to do anything.
Yeah.
They couldn't sniff
a free agent.
To sign anybody.
Somebody's got to take the fall for that. So.
And you know who takes the fall for that every time? Head coach and GM.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. There's other things solid. Like I felt like with the Rodgers not being at OTAs, even though he talked to them, and instead of just being like, he cleaned it from the team, he starts making narratives that aren't necessary.
Yeah.
I think sometimes he's poured more fuel on narratives than he's tried to put them out. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of things that people have been scratching their head with Salah and stuff. Like, maybe he's more of a... Because this is sometimes people don't get, like... You can be a great X's and O's guy, which makes you good coordinators.
Yeah.
But not really a good, like...
Communicator. Like,
like getting everybody together, getting everything on the same page.
That's when it becomes becoming the leader of men.
Yeah, and that's the thing where some of the questions sometimes with Salah. It's not the X's and O's. It's not... Like, nobody doubts him once the game starts.
Yeah.
But sometimes the before and after the game, if you're not handling things well enough as a head coach, can be more detrimental than not being able to handle the game.
I gotcha. I mean, I think...
Because the head coach that can handle the before and after the game can get coordinators to handle the on-field. If you can't handle... There's nobody to handle the off-the-field stuff for you if you're a head coach.
You're public.
And they still got to get you to... You still got to handle.
You have to talk after every game.
Yeah.
There's no... So,
I mean, I guess Belichick wasn't really good at that. But I guess you got to win, though.
Well, are you sure?
I don't know. He just grumbles.
He shut down everything and said, don't give them anything that they could bitch about.
Grumbles and
it worked for 20
and it worked.
Years.
It was perfect.
But that's because they were winning. If anybody else if they weren't winning, that grumbling would not work. But because they're winning, and everybody like, oh, he's so clever. Like, this is Belichick. But if they were doing this and they were having these types, but the Jets, I think, are promising. I think they're like, I guess, like you said, it all depends on how this season goes. But
I think Tyrod Taylor
even last year went better than it. Once Rodgers went down, we kind of.
Who do they have?
Aaron Rodgers.
No, the backup.
Not Tyrod.
Tyrod didn't go there.
He did.
I thought he said he signed with somebody else.
Oh, he signed with the Jets. We were talking about it on Hard Knocks earlier. I said that'll work because Tyrod can give a deep ball, and that's kind of what they need.
I didn't know he went. I thought he went.
They need a quarterback that can hand off a bunch, and then every once in a while play action and throw it deep.
I didn't know he stayed in New York. I thought Tyrod was. Why did I think Tyrod was somewhere else?
I was like, what are you talking about?
But I don't know. I think they gotta be bad next year because they still were in a better place even after Rodgers got hurt.
Yeah, because I mean, even Zach Wilson looked better at first.
Yeah, so.
It's gonna be interesting.
I guess it all depends on how. That's what we're talking about, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah.
I think they have to lose like bad for
O'Donnell and the Vikings.
Yeah. Letting Kirk Cousins go the only thing that I could give them that could save him hot seat wise.
We'll make him a chance because it's a new quarterback.
If they're waiting for JJ McCarthy to mature,
they may give him.
They could give them a year or two.
Yeah, they may give him 2 years. Yeah, but his seat is warm.
Yeah, it is warming up.
Like I mean,
those voices over there in the Steel City are getting a little loud about not being real Super Bowl contenders.
Didn't I say it last year?
Well, then he'll win though. Like I mean,
but I still said last year it's not about. We talk about his expectations. They expect
Super Bowls. And they don't feel like he's put together. Like, if you talk to a lot of Pittsburgh fans, the team he won the Super Bowl with He was handed by Bill Cowher.
Cowher leftovers.
He left him a Super Bowl team.
Yeah,
and he has not been able to put together a Super Bowl team since then.
He did.
What they won again?
He did. He took his own team to Super Bowl.
Well,
They
that's
lost.
true.
They lost, but they went there.
They were hurt, but he took them. He led a team.
I mean,
That's true. Well, no, I'm saying that's the narrative that a lot of Steelers fans are saying.
I think
Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then and then they won the playoff game last year, right? So like
They lost, didn't
No, yeah, they lost to Buffalo.
they did lose to Buffalo.
Yeah, in that really snowy game.
Oh, okay, I'm tripping. So,
They should have never been there. It was amazing that they made it.
Well, I called that, but
Well, yeah.
whatever. I'm just saying. But no, but
they?
like I said, with
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I think Tomlinson's one of those people. Like, didn't they just renew his contract?
Yeah, they gave him a little something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so,
you know how that could change in failure.
Yeah,
So
I don't
contract
think
ain't
Tomlinson going
definite.
nowhere.
Yeah.
They will have to have an awful year, and he still hasn't had a non-winning season. So you get someone else, and you want to get that far? I don't know. Like,
Oh, and Doug Peterson down in Jacksonville.
I agree with
I
that too.
can see that. Yeah.
Because even with CJ Stroud and them being the favorite in the division, y'all have been supposed to have been the favorite for like 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
He's been. This is just their third season together.
And it's looked a little rough.
It's just it seems like because you guys signed Trevor, he's locked up.
Yeah.
So the question is, now you got him locked up. Why you guys should be showing, because y'all did well that one playoff. Y'all beat the Chargers, and then after that's the one that Patrick Mahomes beat y'all on one leg.
Yeah.
And then last year you guys fell off.
It completely fell off the face.
It fell off. It didn't make any sense.
With the rest of that division getting better the way it did,
Yeah.
if they don't come back, and I don't feel like they got better to keep up with the division.
No, we covered them. Remember they got pieces.
But
It was pieces that needed to feel like they got pieces.
But the problem with their offense, if you watched, it doesn't look coordinated. The timing never looks right. I mean, they had at no point during the season.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that because when there's points where ETN and Ingram and
well, they would make plays.
They were definitely they were competing,
but it didn't seem like they could really like put.
I think also they made plays, but then sometimes it looked like they got blown out.
Yeah.
Or they got, or they just like they're making plays, you're like okay making plays, but then you're like, dang, how did you lose that game? They were up most of the game.
Yeah. Like it was
Like,
games
no,
I
we
was
beat
shocked they lost.
Yeah, like so. I mean,
Yeah.
But I mean, that's like I'm trying to think in the AFC South. Like, yeah, that's the only team right now that everybody else is young enough to where
Everybody else is young and is rebuilding.
Yeah, rebuilding. Like I was gonna say the Colts because their head
The
coach.
West is young and
No.
rebuilding, other than the Chiefs, but they're the Chiefs. You're not worried about that.
No, and I mean like they're giving
Maybe Sean Payton a little bit because
No, I think they'll give him.
I don't think he has this year.
He at least has
Another
this
year
year
or so.
and next year.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they'll give him at least 2 more years.
So because he got his quarterback now, he has to give him time to build his quarterback.
Nobody's worried about it. Well, we talked about Pittsburgh, but nobody in the NFC or the AFC North is.
I don't see anything crazy going on there.
We already went over the East. We know that the Jets and the Bills are looking at
You
it.
don't think your boy might?
I think because of the heat that keeps coming, and then all these morons thinking that we should have thrown $100 million at Saquon because you're gonna ever really make a championship run with a running back. Yeah. I mean, it's hard in the market. If we have a year like last year, then yeah, he is definitely on the hot seat.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But I don't think. I think one of the other things, like I said, like this is the first year of his tenure.
Yeah.
Where pretty much everything but the quarterback is his picking.
I got you.
So if this doesn't go that great, like if this season goes through and we just look uncoordinated, then okay, yeah, I could see him being hot seated, maybe even out. But if it looks like we look like the Jets of the last 2 years, where it's like, man, that team looks like they could be good. Their quarterback plays just
You
trash.
might give them that next year.
I could see him giving him another year to try to get a new quarterback.
Yeah.
Because he didn't get Daniel Jones. And then, like I said, like a lot of people are mad about it, but Daniel Jones took us to the playoff, won a playoff game. We did offer a contract to Saquon first. He turned it down.
Yeah.
We then said, all right, fine, we'll tag you, and gave Daniel Jones a far less than top tier contract.
Okay.
So, like,
You still got to pay that contract? Yeah.
we got to finish dealing with the contract. You got to. I don't think he had another choice. I don't think the Mars look at it like there was another way to. There's really no other way we could have played that situation.
This is the second year of the contract too, right?
Yeah.
Year 2.
But at the end of this, we have where we can cut him at the end of the year. Not really.
Okay.
lose a bunch.
Well, I mean, we'll see. Now, I also two other things I just thought about when you were talking about that. NFC South, Todd Bowles. If they don't do anything in Tampa Bay,
Yeah, I
we'll get rid
think.
of him.
Yeah,
And then Dennis Allen and them Saints. If you suck it again,
yeah.
you're gone.
Yeah.
So
And again, I don't think Dennis Allen and the Saints need to be great, but they were trash last year. Like the
Yeah.
Saints were horrible.
Like
the Saints depend. Like I'm sorry, even Tampa. Like that's why Todd Bowles. Part of the reason Tampa got a playoff berth is because that division is absolute trash.
Well, that'll keep you a job though. Like if the division is trash and you're winning,
Yeah.
then they'll keep your job.
But if he comes out, they come out here flat.
And let the new coaching in Atlanta actually catch on. Like let Atlanta win 10 win. Let Atlanta with Raheem Morris and Kirk Cousins win 10 games and win the division by like 3-4 games.
I don't think they go.
Everybody else in that division, every other coach is gone.
Not Carolina. They got a new guy.
Maybe Carolina. Well,
but Tepper.
I'm like, Tepper is.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he doesn't care.
I think if they have a
you got a bunch of 5 and 6 wins for the rest of them, but Atlanta wins 10-11. Yeah, every coach in that division is gone.
Winning 10-11?
Because I could see them sweeping that division. Yes, that's 6 games right there. Then they only need to win 4 or 5 games out of the rest.
I think Tampa Bay's better than you giving them credit for.
No, I'm not saying they're not. I'm saying that if they don't perform, because if they come out like they did last year, Atlanta's going to sweep that division.
Yeah, but if they come,
if they do not play better than, if that whole division does not play better than last year,
but near the end,
Atlanta is going to sweep that division.
They weren't like that when they had the ending of it, though. They were a pretty good team.
Yeah.
And they did add some stuff. So I mean, but that's my point. If y'all don't do better, if you give us last year, y'all are all looking for new head coaches.
Yeah, because they were still trying to find their quarterback a little bit.
Yeah, and Baker didn't. It does, and I've noticed with every team, Baker takes a while to get going.
He has to, yeah.
So now the problem is, it seems like every single year.
He's been in the system a year now, so I don't want to hear that.
Well, but I mean, that's every season that he plays. He doesn't start to look like a good quarterback until like halfway through the year. But they have a really good defense. There is talent around him, and they do have an offense where if they want to, they could just run the ball a whole bunch. So you can give him that half a year to get into his rhythm if he needs to.
Yeah,
but that means everything else is going to have to execute.
That means he has to not give up turnovers. He has to basically be a game manager.
And everybody else has to execute to the fullest extent.
Exactly. Now, I also didn't forget about this before we get off this. Hey, Sirianni and them Eagles, you don't get it together, and you you crap the bed like you did at the end of the season last year.
Because everybody's talking all this trash about, oh my God, now they have Saquon, blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay, but Jason Kelce did a lot of. It's not even just his ability to block in the middle. He called a lot of their protections.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
And then when he was off, they were off.
They were off. Last year, he started struggling, and that offensive line did not look very good.
It's gonna be interesting because now it's gonna be on Jalen Hurts to really be able to see, know his coverages, know how to get the protection in order.
Slide his protection.
You're gonna see more of him having to be the quarterback. Now, like Jason Kelce was a leader of that offensive line, and also he was able to get you in the right set so you guys can run your offense. Now you need to be. He's been in this offense for his whole career, and he needs to be able to.
And I mean, I'm not saying that they're not.
I'm not going to say he's not, but it's a thing of if you don't produce and
they look rough,
and you look rough, like say they go 8, 9, or 7 and 10, that ain't working.
Yeah. The rest of the division got better.
That's like I say. I think that's gonna be a tough division. That's why I was like, when we were talking like with Dallas, I get a little nervous because I think this division as a whole is going to be a really good division. It's not gonna be like, oh, this team got it,
Yeah.
Like everybody, even like everybody's did what they need to do to improve. Like it's like I said, like Dallas didn't do a lot, but I don't think they really needed a lot to to do what they need to do.
They needed like disciplinary pieces. They needed, which nobody's ever going to give you credit for signing those kind of guys.
Yeah,
you needed guys that stayed in their lane in the middle to make sure a running game went. Nobody gets hyped off of run stoppers.
Yeah. So,
but that's what y'all needed, and that's what y'all got.
That's what you got, and I feel like this division is gonna be a little bit tougher this year.
And I really don't think people get how much losing a back that could block. Like none of your backs can block. Like Tony Pollard is a trash blocker. The amount of times I've seen Dak Prescott get torn up because Tony Pollard missed a block.
Back and
Zeke is a blocker. Tajay Spears can block.
and
your line is better. So they had so many injuries. It was kind of
That's true.
Like
which that's another. Now y'all have depth and
when Zeke was there because they fed off each other, and then like it didn't have that when Zeke was gone.
But I think that's going to help y'all. I think he really needed that kind of blindside protection, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, I'm excited. I think this is going to be a really good season.
I think it is too.
49 days to kick off. 49.
I think a lot of these teams are a lot like they have like,
and then like the changes to the kickoff rule. Like the way they've made it now,
it's gonna be nice to see it in the preseason because we're gonna see it how it looks in the NFL for the first time in the preseason.
I think it's gonna get a lot more.
I don't like change.
I think that could change things for. I think there could be teams you could think like that are gonna be able to score off of kickoffs better than teams you're not thinking of.
Yeah,
and that's gonna be like their. Now you got dudes that are gonna be Devin Hester returning kicks because it's kind of easier. You just need one hole.
You're gonna see a lot more speedy receiving people who usually just like, nah, I'm not supposed to.
That like, I'll go. Like guys are asking to play special teams and return kicks now for teams, and it's crazy because those kind of guys wouldn't do that. But they're like, oh yeah, let me do that because if you can make one guy miss open field, that's it. You're gone.
Yeah. I guess we're about to see it. I'm like that. I am. I'm so ready for football.
Yeah,
like,
we got training camp kicking off next week. We'll have more stuff for you guys then.
You gonna stay awake then?
Yeah, I mean,
oh my goodness, you putting me to sleep. Lord, I'm just trying to think caffeine, bro. Some coffee beans or something. Look at them.
Caffeine patch for next week. No, but
don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.
Hit us on Instagram and Twitter, and we'll see y'all next week. All right, peace.